Pakistani broadcast is the new wave of a new conflict, and I've been writing it for the last decade.
Baby did a bad thing.
Immediately empowering millions who can neither read nor afford newspapers, I can say that I was there when Pakistan's information revolution was born and unleashed. My broadcast work in English and Urdu has centered around the investigative, tough-talking interview with some of the leading news and opinion makers of South Asia. In a country where most reporting is based on polemics, TalkBack and opposition gave no room for rhetoric.
They say that winter comes with its surprises, but in Pakistan, you can always expect the unexpected. This winter, TalkBack brings you what it's most famous for, asking tough, compelling questions from tough, compelling people.
Fine. You take on the locals, they're going to get ticked off. Agreed. What about Al-Qaeda? These guys, the Taliban or not, or at least some sections of the Taliban or not, are linked with Al-Qaeda. Yes or no?
Yeah, but what is common sense? Should they not have separated Al-Qaeda from the Taliban? Should they not have separated the tribal people from Al-Qaeda?
You know how complicated the relationship between Al-Qaeda and the Taliban is? Do you know how much entrenched they are? Here's a report, right? Here's a report from the CIA. Al-Qaeda is playing power broker, man. Do you support the Taliban today?
Who are the Taliban?
Do you support the
Actually,
resistance
Taliban.
fighters operating out of southeastern Afghanistan? Do you support them
yes,
today?
I support all
Because some of them claim to be the Taliban. Do you support their methods? Bumbling Pervez Musharraf, trying to hold on to the last thread.
I am sorry, I have never been bumbling. I never bumble.
So 3-man and 1-woman army. Where's the rest of your party?
I will try and fail maybe, but I will not go down without trying.
There's a lot which is debatable about Pakistan, but not the meaning of the Punjab. In the next episode of TalkBack, you will meet the most contentious man in Punjabi politics, the 25th governor of the most populous province of Pakistan, Salman Taseer.
The Taseer interview was groundbreaking, as one of the country's most powerful politicians was exposed for having a conflict of interest, illegally owning businesses while in office. It says very clearly here in the law that you will not be in an office of profit or occupy an office or any other position carrying the right to profit, the right to remuneration.
The right from the office. I'm holding no right of remuneration.
You're the CEO, you're supposed to get paid.
No, I'm not paid. So
You're supposed to, you're in a position.
not necessarily. If I say
Because
I'm
there's a large argument, I'll tell you why. Because I talked to a lawyer and they said that there's a large argument here that he can, as governor, he can influence decisions which would suffice enough to actually help his business. It would be a conflict of interest.
no.
Governor, you're just looking for bad PR.
Don't agree.
Hospital sources said the governor had received 9 bullet shots to his body. Police have arrested the elite force guard who allegedly assassinated the governor.
This was the last standing place of Salman Taseer, जो larger than life किस्म का इंसान था, जो हर किस्म की criticism लेके और उसे sarcastically परे मार देता था. आज उसे उसकी आखिरी निशानी खाली इस रोड पे खून की कुछ छींटें ही हैं. Mr. Laghari, this is what was written by the nation about your lands. The Laghari tribesmen, particularly those in the hills, continue to be deprived of the most basic facilities like clean water, basic education, roads and electricity.
This is nothing but
Pakistan's nuclear program was not the job of the ISI, not the mandate of the ISI.
So effectively you're saying that the ISI, the all-knowing ISI, stopped watching A.Q. Khan for several years while he went around the world making nuclear deals.
ISI was not all-knowing,
It was
never, and this was not the subject that the ISI was dealing with.
General, you are here on national television and you expect the Pakistani people to believe that.
One way or the other, the ISI was involved, it has been involved, and it is now involved also.
But what about the oath of the soldier, that I will not engage myself in any political activities whatsoever?
Yeah, of course, this is right. Take me to the court. And I offer it to you now. Please, now that the courts are free, somebody must put me on charge, take me to the court.
Why is the issue detrimental?
Why is raising something which is controversial detrimental to the armed forces? Shouldn't it be solved to clear the armed forces?
No, I did not say that. Where have you got this one?
Well, here's a copy for you in clause 2. This is your deposition. General, you've said it in your own deposition.
Well, I mean, if I've said it, then there is some mistake in my saying.
We even highlighted it for you.
Yes, you are right.
So you go back on your deposition? Is that what you're saying? You disagree with your own deposition?
I disagree. Because if I said that, that was wrong.
This is India. With a rising economy, a burgeoning middle class, tough politics, and of course, the unstoppable glamour of Bollywood. Dawn News brings you the issues and the people which define this complex country. Watch TalkBack as it tries to understand the real Hindustan. Watch TalkBack as it tries to keep an eye on India. Why do you think Indian actors are so depoliticized?
In India, definitely actors really don't take a stand.
Like, let's talk about India and Pakistan, right? Touchy topic, as always.
If you're talking about Pakistani people, and if you're talking about Indian people, I don't think that there's an issue.
A landmark interview was with India's biggest self-styled Pakistan basher. Why would a big, growing India, a rising India, a shining India, a democratic India make Pakistan uncomfortable?
Irrespective of the time it takes to sort out any dispute, there'll be no recourse to arms.
Recently, Kashmiri domestic politics took a dramatic turn when pro-India National Conference President Umar Abdullah made a striking demand. He said that no solution of Kashmir was possible without the involvement of the Hizbul Mujahideen.
The fact of the matter is that the Hizbul Mujahideen is the single largest indigenous Kashmiri militant outfit.
But this is a softening up to them.
Not at all. How is it? If we could talk to them in 2000, how am I softening up to them in 2007?
There was a ceasefire then.
I'm not for a moment advocating that you talk to them without a ceasefire. I don't think anybody can talk with the barrel of a gun pointing at their head.
Suicide bombings के खिलाफ हैं या for है? देखिए मैं clear statement मुझे चाहिए.
Mr. Salahuddin is a freedom fighter. This is a holy war. War fighting, holy war, where purely my enemy is target.
ठीक है.
Not civilian.
So on that note, do you condemn the Mumbai attacks of 26/11? आप condemn करते हैं? On that note,
और जहाद को उसे मुत्तहिद जहाद को उसे वक्त कंडेम करते.
Good morning from Islamabad, Pakistan, where the agenda of South Asian geopolitics is being set nice and early in the morning. It works just like any other drug. It gives you a kick after a while. And that's exactly what the whistleblowing site WikiLeaks has done to the Pakistani polity in today's Newsday. Welcome to the SAARC Interior Ministers Summit. We've had exclusive access to the conference hall. If one was to track the terror timeline of the 26/11 attackers, then it would probably have a major part on this very street. Mazhar Majid, the bookie who was allegedly involved in the tainted trio scandal this summer, actually has more Pakistani cricketers on his payroll. Latest criticism, this time coming from German Chancellor Angela Merkel about Pakistan's commitment to the fight against terror.
Wajahat, are you optimistic about the outcome of the result of these meetings?
Well, Shafiq, I'm optimistic about the result of these meetings. I just hope the thunderstorm we're having doesn't really drive the diplomats away. This was the Pakistani Special Police, the CIA's headquarters a couple of weeks ago. Right now, it's a concrete graveyard. Pakistan and India, for whatever the difference is, have not let SAARC suffer. And because SAARC has provided this opportunity, one can only hope that Pakistan and India's peace process will proceed forward.
This is the voice of the government of India. I don't know why Pakistan finds it so difficult to come to terms.
We could go back and forth all day. I could start with Kashmir. You could go to 65. I would go to 71.
No.
This is like arguing about deck chairs. Problem is we're on the deck of the Titanic. Kashmir is the raison-d'etre of the Pakistani security state, and the security state is the construct of the Pakistani military. Pakistan's military has never been properly documented. We, our soldiers, planned to change that. The Army's operation in Lal Masjid in 2007 is the perfect example of a close-quarter battle and what can go right or wrong in it.
जो घर की लड़ाई होती है वो ज़्यादा सख्त होती है।
किस हिसाब से?
जो आपके हालात या मेरे हालात या किसी घरेलू हालात जानता है, वो हर लिहाज से हमें वो दुश्मन हमें जानता है, वो हमारे ही अंदर रह के हमारा दुश्मन होता है, इसलिए उसकी लड़ाई मुश्किल होती है।
Though at one stage, more than 50 countries either deployed or manufactured the G3 worldwide, most Western forces have now phased out the weapon. We talked to a former trooper of the NLI.
सर LMG अच्छे हथियार थे सर, उसके 5-5 राउंड 6-6 राउंड फायर होने के बाद G3 रुक जाते थे, फंस जाते थे सर।
That is why perhaps in another conflict in another part of the country, the G3 is not the only weapon being used by the army. Most of Fatah and Swat is a ridge-lined and mountainous area, and engagements with militants do not usually exceed more than a few hundred meters. The weapons of choice in Fatah and Swat, at least for the militants, are dated and modern variants of the famous or infamous AK-47. The stated objective of this new strategy, titled Cold Start, is to make shallow territorial gains in southern Pakistan. Pakistan's military says it has developed and tested an adequate response to Cold Start, which involves taking the battle to the attacking army's territory. Part of the offensive defense strategy propagated in the 1980s by former army chief Mirza Aslam Beg. His closing address at Exercise Zarb-e-Momin provides insight into the Pakistan Army's raison-d'etre when it comes to its war doctrine. In 1971, the Indians struck first at sea. Ghazi, the only long-range Pakistani submarine and its underwater flagship, was nullified when it was sunk directly or indirectly through the depth charges dropped by the Indian Navy's destroyer INS Rajput or by its anti-ship mines. In the 4 wars between them, India and Pakistan have faced off on several fronts, from the heights of Siachen and Kargil to the valleys of Kashmir to the plains of the Punjab to the rice paddies of Bengal. But now there is evidence that the next war, if it happens, will probably be in the desert.